Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup, though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup, though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup, though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup, though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup, though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup, though.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
Literally a guest star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that Putin to lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
Hello everyone, welcome, one and all, welcome to PSGL, and welcome to Season 34. It's awesome to be here. Unfortunately, we do have a little bit of a camera issue, However, what this does mean is that we have plenty of content to cover, plenty of things to talk about, and season 34 is going to be absolutely piping hot. So hello to everyone in the chat, hello to everyone who has been patient. Thank you for your patience. It's gonna be wild, it's gonna be insane. We got a lot to cover before we get into our first round here in Brazil, Interlagos. Usually a round in season ender, but in almost, to say, a bit of poetic fashion, that's where we're going to start this time round. So it is going to be just me. I'm, of course, your commentator, Sappytron. Unfortunately, Reese is not able to join us, and we'll be looking at other tiers. So we will see about who will potentially join me in the commentary box. Time can only tell, but I'm certainly super excited for what is to come here. We've got hot races, we've got hot tracks, we've got plenty of insanity, and we can see the first 5 rounds on the screen. We've got Brazil, we've got the brand new Las Vegas, we have got Britain for round 3, heading to Silverstone, a classic, and then in August we in fact head to Qatar. We head to the Losail International Circuit, the second brand new track on the calendar, with Austria taking round 5. Round 6 to 11 are yet to be fully confirmed, so this season is going to be rolling out in 2 halves, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a nice surprise and a nice little sort of tease. Stars we needs to go on. But the placements, let's look at the placements and let's see what we've got, some of the drivers we can keep an eye on. So Sven Schumacher immediately is one that catches my eye. Did absolutely brilliantly in the previous season. I believe Leo Lund as well really fought hard. And you have a lot of different names that you might have recognized from the previous season. Drivers like Noel Coleman, drivers like Corne de Baca, Vincent Nyquist, Kevin Ballas. We've got Milan Meyer, Cordon, Nikos Aleda of Ferrari fame, Ryan Jacobs, Andre Molnar, Ben Marples, and that's just naming about half of the grid. So we've got Primex Hubas, we've got Lil Ferren, Jeremy Glenner, we have got Richard Sprogius, Ivan Santamaria, Silly Sly Guy, Simon Violo, and then in the reserves we have Andrew Karapi, Marek Zabrowski, Valent Lakes, Kokeni Tomas, and Fabian Messenger. So I'm seeing in the chat a bit of support for Ballas, I'm seeing some support for Saro, and let us know in the chat who you are pegging to win this first race and who you've got your eye on for the championship, because we've got a lot of different drivers who can take this championship and a lot of good talent that is out on the field. So this is the proving grounds. This is where we get to see who's adjusted well to the F123, who's really looking to make their mark this season, and who could we see topping the championship. Because remember, the winner of each driver's championship gets automatically promoted to the next tier. So the winner of F4 will get promoted to F3. And of course, as time goes on, we'll see who maybe makes the jump up, maybe who gets transferred mid-season. It's not uncommon to have mid-season transfers, or even in the early rounds, as we saw in the first round in Spain with F4. Last time out, we had a couple of transfers early in the season. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes you get moved up, sometimes you get moved down. It becomes very clear that some place and pace adjustment is needed. Here we are, just siphoning through into the lobby now, and we are just a few minutes away from our first race of the season. So let's talk about Spain for a second. 15 turns, 2.7 miles, 4.3 kilometers, 2 DRS zones, and a very high-speed start-finish straight before heading straight into the downhill turns 1 and 2. This is a unique track. Not only is it steeped in history, but it's also a very unique driving challenge because you've got a bit of everything here. You have got high-speed sections. You've got a lot of undulation in the track. You've got uphills, downhills. You've got faster corners. You've got slower corners, hairpins. You've got cambering. It's a little bit of everything, and there's a reason why it's such a revered track by old and new fans alike. So, if there's any place to have a proving ground for drivers, it is going to be this one. Sao Paulo, a motorsport fairground, as it were. Big places to look for any action. I would probably say that turn 3 and turn 4 is going to be areas to watch, because you want to be in the right position to get the DRS detect, and you want to get a move done before the turn 4 left-hander. You extend too wide, that is track limits central, and you can't be overcommitting on any moves through there. Same goes coming through turn 13 and turn 14. You've got to be very careful of how your car behaves and how your car responds to the track underneath you. So as you sort of pile on the power, as you come through turn 12 and then start to roll it up the hill, you want to lock in your move, you want to lock in your position, and DRS is going to play a very big role in this as well. So this is going to be a great race. I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah, let us know in the chat who you have pinned as the winner of tonight's race. So just as a reminder of how it works, we have our qualifying, then we'll have a short break, and then we will have the full-scale race. And our first race of the first half of the season is going to be in Brazil, the Interlagos circuit, with plenty more to come. So just going to check in with the drivers, check in with F4 now. Typically, the first race of the season does have a little bit of early hiccups, we'll call them. And with that, it's a first race, usually a little bit of teething issues. I'm no different with my camera issue, which will be resolved for next week's session, I assure you. But yeah, it is just a couple minutes now, and then we will be getting into qualifying. For anyone in the chat who has tried the new F1 game, what do you think of the two new circuits, Las Vegas and Qatar? How are they to drive? Because I've heard so far mixed impressions about Las Vegas, but very good impressions regarding Qatar. So, eagerly awaiting what those tracks are going to bring in terms of league racing. Because in the same way that when Jeddah was first introduced, a new track to the league racing calendar always produces some great racing, some great action on the track. And we have got confirmed that thanks to the latest update, we do not have to run the F1 World Car in these tiers. We are free to run the manufacturers as intended. The equal tyre wear has been resolved. So you'll be able to see drivers in their proper teams, in their proper makeup, heading into the season. Here we are. Looks like we are almost ready to go, folks. As drivers are, in fact, readying up now. Yeah, F4, this is where you start to get into the spicier tiers. This is where you start to get into the, I like to call it, skill check. Because from F4, that's kind of the middle ground of where you're in no assist territory, between sort of high skill, like proper esports grade driving, and where you sort of still learning the ropes, still finding your foot in the league racing scene. F4 is that sort of perfect middle ground where you meet both the esports level drivers, the academy, drivers that are starting to move their way up and heading into the lower tiers or coming up from there, having made their mark, having grinded their way up. But here we go. Looks like we're about to get into short quali, folks. So it's time to get in there and it's time to go racing. Let's do this. This is season 34 and this is F1 23 PSGL. You can see everyone loading in, just locking in their connections now, waiting on a couple, and then we'll be getting into it.
Construction started in 1936. The Sao Paulo circuit is Brazil's oldest permanent autodrome. The track designers took inspiration from three main circuits.
Alright then, here we go.
In the UK, Roosevelt Raceway in the USA, and Monterey
We are in,
France.
and this is quali. So let's see who's going to be the first to head out. Everyone's quickly grabbing their setup. Everyone's quickly jumping in. They want to be the first to get out there. It's looking a little bit hazy. It's looking a little bit overcast. And looks like we've got a few cars heading out. Who is that going to be out first? The AlphaTauri's coming through. And I'm going to quickly just preemptively turn the sound down because this is going to be very difficult on the ears. Alright, so here we are. Looks like first out on track is Jeremy. And in the AlphaTauri, no less. So despite their real season performance, these cars are equal performance, so no worries about disparity between car builds here. You're not going to see a Red Bull 1-2 every round this time. A lot fairer. Now, time to go. We're going to stick on board with Jeremy here as he is going to be the first car out, and we're going to see what it's like to take a full race pace or full quali pace lap here in F1 23. First time for PCF4. You can see they're heading out on the dry tires. Despite the overcast weather, there is no rain coming down. On board with Jeremy now. Let's see what he can do. So, 8th gear, over 200 miles an hour, fully pushing on that ELRS in the start-finish straight. Get the best entry speed that they can on the speed trap. But it looks like an immediate overextension and an immediate invalidation. We're going to hop on board to his teammate, however, Lillian. We're going to see that they have no such invalidation, so we're going to hop on board with them and see how they do. Looks like a very strong first sector. You can see these F1 23 spec cars are a lot more stable on throttle through corners, so you can push it a little bit more on the apex. You can have a little bit more trust in the car and really sort of power it out through corners, but looks like Lillian's going for an abandon here and is going to yield to the Ferrari of Corne de Bacca. So let's see what this Ferrari can do as they rocket around the track. This thing is a quality rocket ship in real life, but let's see if Corne can convert that reality into a pole of their own, as they are looking quite strong here. They are really giving it everything. You can see shooting down the start-finish straight here. You can see cutting so close to the inside. And Corne is going to be the first car to get a strong time. But Simone is going to be immediately dethroning that with the 107.442, 3/10 faster than the Ferrari. Andre Molnar, 107.6, is just going to be scraping it down. His teammate, Kevin Ballas, is only 11 milliseconds behind, with Nyquist taking a 107.5 here. Got a couple of Hasses who are going to be coming on. Richard Sprogis is going to be a 107.452, with a Williams of Ryan Jacobs with a .470. You've got Marek, who is going to be on a 107.4 1:09.6 as well. Dimas is going to be coming across the line. Is he going to join his teammate in P5? He's going to leapfrog him and put him down to P6 as he goes P4 with a 0.478. And it looks like with the Haas getting an invalidation as well. Oh, that's going to be Nicola Aleda. Or is that? No, that is... yes, Nicola Aleda is having an invalidation there. So he's going to have to go again. And I think he's in fact going this lap. Weirdly enough, Leo Lund has not long come out the pits, and being one of the stronger drivers we saw last season out, we do see a bit of a changing up in the standings. I think that was Marek there, jumping up the table. Oh no, that was Lillian. Lillian jumping up to P4 in the AlphaTauri. Brilliant work done there by them. As you can see, both Nyquist and Carmen are heading into the pits now. So we've got second Aston Martin of Even Santa Maria, who is going to be starting their lap according to track map 2. But there you go, that's first runs done. Everyone, for the most part, has got the runs that they wanted. Only ones I see that might need to make an improvement and might have to get out there pretty quick are the McLarens and Haas. Despite Sprogis being in P2, Tamas is going to be having to fight to get themselves back up there. Here we are, Nicola Leda, only P13. It's a 0.7, which was a 7.8, sorry. Milan Mayer's going to be coming across the line next. What's he going to be doing? He looks to have pushed it all the way here. It's looking very strong. It's going to be a 7.7 though. It's only good enough for P11. Is there going to be any jumping around the grid from other drivers? Leoland's starting a lap. Got the two AlphaTauris who are going to be coming into the pits now. And in fact, Jeremy is going to be out on another run. We're on board with Even Santa Maria now. See how he can do. A little bit lighter on the ERS usage from our perspective. Hasn't really wrung it out to the very edge. But here we go, 107.5. That's going to put him P6. Aston Martin looking very strong there. P1 and P6. That's certainly a starting position that you can be proud of as a team. Jeremy in the other AlphaTauri now is going to be going for another run. Brief yellow for the Mercedes exiting the pits there. That's going to be a Nyquist, I believe. And we hop on board. You can see him trying to evade traffic, making sure that the other drivers are well out of his way. We are coming up to a Ferrari now. Are they going to yield? Are they going to give him the space, or is he going to get stuck behind? Got three drivers. Oh, Leo Lund just came across the line. That's a 7.4 here. That's going to put him P2, so the McLaren's really coming back swinging. You see another very strong McLaren season, potentially. Guess we'll wait to find out. Jeremy now, about to cross the line. What's it going to be? It's a 107.4. That is the fastest time. 107.427 is going to put him 15 milliseconds ahead of Simone and into pole position. The only driver yet to set a time is Kokeni Tamas. But now other drivers are starting to make their way out and starting to go for fast runs here. So people like Andre Molnar, who's going to be going on another run here. We'll see how the Alpine can do. As other drivers are looking to make a mark of their own also. Oh, that looks really rough. You lost the control of the car coming through turn 7. And that's the last thing. I think he just got a little bit of snap oversteer coming over the crest of the corner there. That has got to bruise the ego for sure. We do see a little bit of leapfrog lower in the grid, but that has really got to hurt. I do definitely feel for him there, for Molnar there. So Tamas is going to be going on a lap finally. Last driver to do so. There's only 9.5 minutes left in qualifying, so time is running thin for this driver to get a banker lap in and set a good time. Nyquist with the first driver to set into the 0.3s with a 0.334. That is going to be the fastest lap of the session so far. But Ballas is going to immediately retaliate with a 0.311. The Alpine looking like an absolute rocket ship in quali. So is anyone going to topple that? Noel Carmen coming across the line, but it's an invalidation. Looks like Lillian could be going for another run. Nope, not quite. And do we see here Kikeni Tamas, last driver to cross and get a time on the board. They haven't invalidated. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 7.704. It's good enough for P15, but it's not going to be good enough to be breaking any speed records anytime soon. Aleda now is going to be, I think, going for a proper lap this time after they had to abandon their last attempt. Yeah, even Santa Maria now is going to be starting their lap also. We're going to stick on board with them. Going to see if the Aston Martins can make a sudden surge to the top of the field. See him flying by 200 miles an hour. Goes as wide as he can through the first corner. Get as much of an arc that you can get into that first corner. Means that you can really sort of extend, push the car a little bit, especially with that added stability through the corners. So here we go. Oh, Lillian with a 2.2. That is going to be another fastest lap, and that is going to be putting them top of the timesheets. AlphaTauri, P1 and P4. It's a complete 180 from the real-life counterpart. They are looking absolutely dominating in this scenario here. Now, 7 minutes 30 left in qualifying. It is still anyone's game, however. As we stick on board with Santa Maria, that is going to be Nicola Aleda coming across the line to jump into P3 with a 0.326. Though Aleda's showing that he has still got the pace from last season. He's still got it. Ooh, bit of a wiggle there from Santa Maria. A little bit shaky on the throttle. Confidence was a little bit damaged by that one, but he presses on regardless. How's it going to do? 107.518. That's going to be a minor improvement, just 28 milliseconds. But it's not enough for a place jump, unfortunately. Noel Carmen is going to be coming through, but he's going to go into the pits. Interestingly, still with the Zero Pod model, that is going to be the Mercedes into the pits for now. Milan Mayer coming across the line. It's going to be an improvement. It's 1.5 tenths. That's enough for P12 here. Ferrari is going to be next across. And, ooh, that's the wrong Ferrari. That is going to be Cornet. But Marek's going to be coming across. No improvement. And I think that Cornet is going to be the same. I think they're both going for a push lap this round. Or this time around the track. So we've got a few drivers left out on field now. We have got Dimas starting a lap also. And we have a few different drivers really looking to get a big stormer of a time on the field. As it stands, it's looking like the other cars out on track are mostly heading into the pits, getting ready for a final run. So you can get realistically about 3 good runs, maybe 4, with an allotted time for quali here. Because you have the primer lap, and that's sort of the safe bet, because you never know what could happen. You get held up by traffic, and all manner of things can happen. Looks like Marek's going to be going P7, as Ryan Jacobs displaces him from the timing board. And that Williams is up near the top of the field. Dimas is going to be coming through now, coming across the line. Is it going to be a jump up the field? Yes, it is, a 10th. And that is going to be enough for P7. It's going to split the Williams and the Ferrari. And it's looking very strong for Red Bull. Red Bull looking like a very good team this season, if our early predictions are to be believed. Haas coming across the line now. No improvement. Anyone else going to be coming through? Most of our drivers are now in the pits, so there's not really much in the way of movement that is going on. As you can see, other Red Bull of Ben Marples is going to be heading into the pits. Everyone's just sort of peeling in. Mercedes flying past. Sprogis goes for a more realistic pit entry than most league racers, actually slowing down for the pit entry before the last millisecond. Typical league racing fashion. If the game does not tell you there is a hard limit, there is no hard limit. You can see everyone is in the pit now. Very few cars are actually coming out at this stage. 3 minutes 50. They want to get the last second run as the timer comes close to 0. We've got one of the AlphaTauris coming out, and that is pretty much it. Tamas is going to be coming across the line, but it's only P17. He's not going to make enough of an improvement to jump up the boards higher than that. And looks like there is going to be no improvement from Kevin Ballas. Now on the field now, Lillian is going to be going out once again. Our pole sitter, are they looking to get even bigger of a jump than they had previously? Remember, they were in the 0.3s, and then all of a sudden, Lillian comes in with a 0.242. Ballas is only 9 milliseconds away, so keep that in mind, as they are probably going to be looking to secure a pole position here in Interlagos. The track is getting a little bit warmer. You can see it's a little bit less overcast, so track temps are going to be a bit more favourable to these drivers. And now we wait. We lie in wait to see who is going to strike and who is going to be bringing their A game. As you can see, Silly Sly Guy has joined the lobby at the last minute, it seems. And they are going to have to be ultra quick. They are going to literally have to be out there right now. They have only one shot. They want any chance at a good position here in round 1. Looks like Kevin Ballas is retiring from the session. They are content with their 0.250. That's their 0.251 earlier. So not sure where the extra millisecond got shaved off. But sticking on board with Linian in the AlphaTauri here. The AT03 looking like an absolute weapon in the hands of this driver. Kenny Tamas also going to be retiring. Decided, nope, they've had their fill. And looks like we are having a session issue, folks. So we will be right back after we have resolved this. Not sure what's happened to the session. Just about to check in with our drivers. Not sure what's going on there. But we will be right back. All right, folks, looks like we're back. My apologies for the sudden sort of disconnection, the sudden mismatch. And unfortunately, that happened at the worst time as we jump into the tail end of the quali. But we had a reasonable idea of the board and a reasonable idea for what happened. Looks like this is not an issue exclusive to me. It looks like this has happened to all of the drivers. And yeah, looks like there has been a severe issue with the with the game, with the lobby, unfortunately. We do have a sort of pre snapshot from stream. Apologies, folks. I'm just trying to simultaneously organize simultaneously organize and try and help out getting the issues resolved with the session, as this has kind of screwed over everyone. So everyone got kicked from the session in the end, and everyone is kind of just scrambling to see what we can really do. So a few drivers got kicked out mid-lap. Looks like that would explain the sudden retirement from a few drivers. That would actually explain the retirement from a few of them. Looks like we are just waiting for the official word from the officials. Looks like even the idea of one-shot quali is being thrown around. Because you had a few people who got good laps, a few people who... looks like we are having a restart of quali, though. So after all of that, there is going to be a quali restart. It looks like we are back in just a moment, folks.
in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, got me locked in on cup though.
All right, folks, we are about to jump back in. So we are going to be restarting qualifying. It has been confirmed by the officials and by the lobby host that we are restarting qualifying following the kicks and the mishaps due to the fact that some people were on laps and some people were on their, well, say some people had laps but some people didn't. So on that basis, we are going to be restarting quali, but it looks like we are still having lobby issues, and we are going to get yet another new lobby in just a moment. So hang tight, and we will be back into the racing before long.
Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, got me locked in on cup though.
All of which have won one world championship. Physicality, defense, and of course, Ghana, who went winning his third world championship in 1999
what we call the activity screen. It's basically you're jumping off. Okay, so feel free to explore. Have a good look around. Welcome to F1 World, a journey through the sport that will offer you events based around casual or competitive play, single player or multiplayer, fun versus realism, and everything in between. As you play, you'll earn upgrades that can be equipped to your car and team in the gap. Along the way, you'll build up your companion. So when you're ready, jump into the play.
climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though.
All right, folks, after much waiting, we are finally getting back into this. So again, massive apologies for the wait time, but we are going to be jumping in and jumping through to Interlagos, and we're going to be jumping into the race. So we are not going to be going into a redo of qualifying. We in fact have the results from qualifying internally. Unfortunately, we don't have our full result spread, but we can say that Lillian did improve by a 10th. So they are going pole position with a 107.148. Riyad Sprogis are going to be P2 in the Haas. And then Marek is going to be jumping into P3 for the Ferrari. Kevin Ballas in P4. Milan Meyer in P5. Vincent Nyquist in P6. Ben Marples in P7 alongside his teammate in Red Bull, Alexander Dimas in P8. You've got Nicola Aleda in P9 with Ryan Jacobs in P10, Andre Molnar P11, Jeremy in P12, Simone in P13. P14 goes to Corne de Baca in the Ferrari, and the Ferraris were not happy about what transpired, as were not the Alfa Romeos. But 15 goes to Leo Lund, 16th goes to Santa Maria, 17 goes to Noel Carmen, Kokeni Tomas in P18, and Silly Sly Guy did not set a time. But with that all being said, we are ready and we are going to be jumping into the race now. So let's get ready and let's expect some good racing. Tensions are already high following some of the altercations. Some of the internal chats will say are a little bit spicy, we will say. And that certainly made for some very interesting moments. But let's jump into the race now and let's see what these drivers can do. As I said to them in the chat, if you had top level pace, show it to me. Prove it to me on this track right now. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see those absolute flyers in the end of the race, or the end of the quali, sorry. But that does mean that we have a little bit of excitement coming into this first race of the season. So just waiting to jump in now. Hopefully everyone was able to get in okay. And hopefully we should see some top class racing from the whole field. They'll want to prove themselves out here tonight. They've had already early issues with the game, and they want to prove that they have got the speed, they have got the talent, they've got the moxie. Show us what they can truly do. So here we go, folks. 3, 4, 5 red lights. The track is hot, no formation, and we are jumping into things straight away. It looks like it's going to be a very good getaway, and looks like going to be debris coming out already as it's a strong launch from Lillian. Red Bulls are going to be fighting for space, and sliding off to the side. That's Andre Molnar. He's in the wall, and he is going to be able to get away from it, but he's going to be taking severe damage to that car. That is immediately a very rough start for him. AlphaTauri is going to be looking very strong here. The Haas in second is going to also be looking to make a charge. A little bit of jostling further back in the grid. As we can see here, the Mercedes of Vincent Nyquist going to go for a bit of a move on Kellen Ballas here in the early stages of the race. They're on the hards, so they're going to be trying to put pressure on the medium runners and see what they can get in terms of advantageous position here. Just biding their time, and everyone is trying to get a bit of a push, get a bit of a rise out of the other drivers, and just try and lock in their early positions. They've got 3 laps to really make it count and to lock in their positioning before the sparks start to fly. That's going to be a Red Bull coming out the outside. That is going to be Alexander Dimas, who is going to be flying through. Lillian with a very quick early lap, 1:14.1. Going to be setting the bar, setting the tone for the race here. So as a reminder, folks, after lap 3 is when DRS officially gets activated. Got a few different strategies that could be potentially on tap. We've got some drivers on soft, some drivers on medium, some drivers on hard. A lot of variance in the tyre strategy today. Look at that. You usually only see soft to medium or medium to hard, but this is very rare. And that is Marek! Marek is spun, and he is completely out of the running in the top end of the fight. I'm not sure whether he got tipped at the rear or whether he actually did just make a mistake on the throttle, but either way, he's down in the doldrums, and he is down in P16. He's going to be fuming with that incident that just occurred right there. Looking up a little bit further ahead, we have Corne de Baca, who's going to be on the medium. It's going to be chasing down Simone. They have a bit of a gap ahead of them. The DRS is now going to be coming into, are just fighting up ahead. You can see that they are going to be continuing to take a bit of a drag race. It's going to be a leader that gets DRS here, as well as a bit of ERS to really push that car and get it ahead. But no, he's gone into the runoff. He's gone way too wide. He's overdone it. And now he's going to be immediately having to return the position. He's on the softs. He can't be doing this. And he's going to try to fight back here. He is going to reclaim his spot against Simone, but is he going to be able to get it against Nyquist? Corne de Baca is also going to be trading spots very briefly with Simone, but it's not going to be landing. It's not going to be sticking. And this is a mid-pack fight for the ages, folks. Front end looking a little bit static. Lillian has completely run away, but they are on the softs, so they'll have to pay that penance later. And what has happened to Leo Lund? He's completely in the grass. It looks like he completely lost the car there for a second. He is back on track, doesn't look damaged, but yeah, just looks like he completely lost control of the car. On board Nicola Aleda now, as he's going to be making a bit of a pass on Vincent Nyquist, and Ballas is going to be making a pass on Dimas just up ahead. You can see in the distance, which is going to stick. Aleda is going to be pushing hard and is going to be pushing to try and make up some gap. They haven't got DRS though. This could put them within striking distance of Nyquist, but Nyquist is going to be yielding. He's going to be holding off for the time being. I think he realizes that he's not going to be making that aggressive of a move this early on. You play it a bit safer right now, and you will be rewarded. Looking at the field right now, it's mostly balanced out in terms of tyre wear, so a lot of the harder runners are down the bottom half of the field. We have a few outliers, so for example, Riyad Sprogis in a P2 with the Haas, and FVR is going to be very happy with that performance. Vincent Nyquist as well, putting up a brilliant fight against Aleda and really putting that pressure on despite such a difference in compound and grip. Bit of a battle going on there very briefly at the back, as you see Ryan Jacobs, who's going to be trading places with Milan Mayer. And we could see Milan Mayer taking a bit of a return shot here. Nope, not quite, but he's going to be getting very, very close. Not quite going to be able to get the move confirmed. Ryan Jacobs is going to have DRS thanks to Cornet de Baca being about 7/10 away. So he's very much just about within that threshold here. And you can see even with Milan Mayer just chomping at the bit, within a couple of tenths, it's not going to land. Alexander Dimas is another one that's chomping at the bit for an overtake right now. And this is where we can see a little bit of a battle going on. So watch how he drives, watch how he positions his car here. Looking for options, left and right. Looking for potential is the name of the game here. Potential to make a move. They've also got to manage their ERS here. But you don't want to burn it too early, because otherwise you'll be on the recovery and you won't have it when you need it the most. DRS for the both of them. He is going to be playing a bit of chase down. Is he going to be going for a move? Doesn't quite look like it yet, but he could get it on the second DRS zone. It is within detection. Ballas is going to be in the crosshairs for Sprogis as well. It looks like Dimas didn't get a very good section there, and we can see on board with Dimas that Ballas is going to go around Sprogis. Is the Sprogis going to get the switchback, though? It's looking very promising for the Haas there. They're both going to drag race coming out of turn 4 and 5. It's going to be a recharge for Sprogis, and Dimas is going to go down the inside. He's going to hold the apex of the corner. Is he going to be able to make it stick? These two are fighting neck and neck. Haas v Red Bull, Dimas v Sprogis. Nobody is willing to yield right now. No one is saying that this is their field. They're throwing in the towel. These two are giving it their absolute all here in the first round of PSGL. It's going to be Dimas that wins out, but the battle is not over yet because Sprogis could get him back on the detection and on the DRS. What a brilliant battle from those two drivers. Half a lap of just hard racing. I'll hop aboard with Sprogis now and see what it is like from his perspective in this situation. Ooh, we see a big slip from Dimas there. He's certainly feeling the pressure of the situation. This could be an opportunity for Sprogis to get a bit of a retake. We see very close to the rear there. Looking a little bit sketchy for the Red Bull. Certainly looking not the most comfortable in their current position. Sprogis hasn't got that much on the DRS. He's only got about 20%, which is key here. Very much looking at a tight fight for these next couple of laps. The real thing here is Sprogis is doing super well for the compound they're on. Because if they can sort of eat that disadvantage while on the hard tyre, then when they're on the medium or even the soft later on, they can really push it and ring it out. Here we go. Looks like a little bit of an overtake. This is going to be Sprogis' opportunity to retake on Dimas. He's going to be going around the outside. Down the start-finish straight. It looks to be a move confirmed as he's going to be heading into P3. Just behind is another battle going on between Aleda and Nyquist. Looks like a little bit of contact made very briefly there. I'm not sure if they bumped tyres, but these two are also really going at it. Aleda going to be looking for a move. Both have DRS and ERS at their disposal right up to the tail of that Mercedes. That W13 is not moving though. In fact, Simone could be looking for a move, and he is. He's going to be going around the outside. Is he going to try and get a move around the outside of Aleda here? This could be insane if he makes this land. See that Simone has dipped back, but what a statement of intent by the Aston Martin. See, so aggressive, poking the nose to the left, poking the nose to the right. They are not going to let Aleda even breathe without knowing that that AMR 23 is hunting them down. This could be prime opportunity here for Simone. You can see he's got a massive burst of speed, really good exit, really hammering it on the ERS there. And these two are going to be drag racing into turn one. Who is going to give... Oh, big slide coming from Nyquist up ahead. And Simone is in fact going to be sliding as well. They're going to be jumping into P10. Marek is going to be retiring in the pit lane. And that is our first retirement of the session here. Going to be dropping out in P15. So we are. Corne de Baca and Aleda are battling for position as well. Ferrari v Alfa Romeo. The battle of the Italians. Who's going to come out on top? So far, Corne has the inside. Oh, big contact made. Lot of bumping tyres between the two. It is going to be Aleda that yields. But Corne is going to certainly need to keep their wits about them, because Aleda, I don't think after that move, is going to take it lying down. Crucially though, Corne is just outside of the DRS range of Nyquist, or he's teetering on the edge there. So he has to get that detection point perfectly if they are going to survive these next couple of moves. Milan Maya is looking for a move on Aleda, however. Going to be jumping on board with them. As you can see, that he's going to be gunning it around the outside. Now, is he going to be able to make it stick? Yes, he is. It's looking very clean there and very strong from Milan Maya. And Aleda is kind of dropping off the pace a little bit. He's gone 4/10 behind now. I do wonder if that altercation with Corne gave him a little bit of damage. You can see there, he's gone very wide. So he is going to yield a position to Simone, who's going to go up into P9. I do think that Aleda might have a little bit of damage there. Uncharacteristic to see a drop off pace like that. But he is also 9 laps deep on the softs. So this is another thing we got to keep in mind. And oh, what's happened is Nyquist, he's dropped down like a stone. Has he got damage? Has he got damage? It looks like he span out, having a little bit of a battle with Ben Marples. But that has got to be rough for him. You've got to feel for some of these drivers to say sometimes it just doesn't go your way. And in this sport's no different. In league racing, you cannot rest on your laurels. But even a second, the minute you yield and let up is the minute that someone like Ryan Jacobs here could be going for a move. You can see there, just cutting past Aleda effortlessly there. Oh, getting a little bit of a twitch on coming through turn 3. And Nyquist is going to be the second retiree of the session. The 2 retirements now. Aleda is not going to take that line down though. They're going to be firing it down the inside. Almost contact. Looking a little bit squirrely, a little bit shaky between the two. A little bit too close for comfort, I might say. Let's see what Aleda's perspective on this one is as we jump on board with them. I think they really are sort of struggling by this point to keep those softs on lock in terms of grip. Ryan hasn't got the most grip either, but you can see he's firing it down the inside. He just doesn't get that same turn in. Does avoid contact, but you can tell that he's struggling to keep it locked in, keep the grip down in this car right now. You see by rocketing down the start-finish straight. Is Aleda going to go for another move? Yes, he is. He's going to be going around the outside. Lap 12 here for these drivers. Coleman and Jacobs are going to also be trading. Coleman's going to be getting a double on these two as Aleda and Jacobs continue to fight. Noel Coleman is going to be siphoning through the pack now. That pace is on full display. As you see further up, you have a bit of a trade between Milan Maya and Ben Marples, and Corne Baca is all going to be kicking off in this upper middle pack here. It's about to kick off between these three. Just you wait. But we are also coming up to potential pit windows for some of the soft runners. So we're already starting to see that the softs are getting a little bit past their prime. In fact, Lillian has dropped behind a fairly significant chunk as well. But are they going to be going for a soft medium strat? I think a few of these drivers are going to be going hard soft. But soft medium is very risky and certainly going to be giving some big pace trade-offs. So here we are then. They Cornet 2.6 seconds behind Dimas. So he really is defenseless. He has no DRS to rely on to save him. Going to have to work purely on strategy and on pace here. And with no ERS left, he's burnt it all through turns 3 and coming up into 4. He's going to have nothing left, so he's going to do a little bit of recharge. Milan Mayer is going to get a position up on Ben Marples. As you can see, those softs maybe starting to fall away a little bit. So here we are on board with that Red Bull now, trying to get a little bit of a counter attack going, but it's just not happening. It is just not happening this time round. That Ben Marples could be under fire, and you can see Aleda and Jacobs are continuing to trade. We're going to be jumping down to them for a second as you see them getting very close to each other, almost too close for comfort. Santa Maria is also joining this fight in a minute. If these two keep it up, Ivan Santa Maria could potentially just pick off the scraps like anyone else would. Ben Marples is going to be heading into the pits, first driver of this race to do so. And now Ryan Jacobs, oh, Ryan Jacobs, he's going to be sideways. We didn't get to catch what happened, but it looks like he made contact briefly with Aleda and got almost, say, tipped into a spin. I'm not saying it was deliberate, but I am saying that maybe these two got a little bit too close to one another, a little bit too feisty. And now Ryan Jacobs has retired and is paying the price. So Aleda is going to be jumping up into P9 for the time being. Marples is going to come out P12 on the medium tyre. So soft medium looks like the strategy for some of these drivers versus hard soft for the others. So I think they're going to be trading initial pace for massive burst of pace at the end. A one-stopper is really the way to go. Only time you want to extend beyond that is if there's circumstances like a safety car or like rain. But there's no rain on the horizon here. 34-degree track temperatures, sunny all the way. And Dimas is going to be getting a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That is going to be a harsh awakening for the Red Bull driver. So now we wait, and now we see that Cornet and Milan are going to be trading spots a bit further behind. Simone is going to be also keeping an eye on this situation. He could be looking for a move. We're waiting to see what these drivers can bring to the table. I think we're going to see a big trade between these three in the next coming laps. Looking at Milan Mayer here, a very strong competitor. We saw their strength as we did with Cornet last season out. Definitely a proven entity. We know that they have the pace, and on their day, they can connect it into something special out on the track. But let's see who comes out on top here. Lillian is going to be coming into pits, our pole sitter in the pits now. We can see Milan Mayer is going to be flying down the outside and into turn 1. They're going to be locking in that P3 position, but can they hold it? Because they will have been ahead on the detection phase. So Cornet is going to be in prime position to take it straight back from turn 3, heading into turn 4. It isn't going to look like it though, as he's going to come up to the back and he's going to yield. Not going to be taking the opportunity. Simone, by comparison, biding his time, being sort of very gentle, very quick to wait, see what happens in front of him before he makes any rash moves. The more patient strategy, I think that's working out in his favour. Aleda in the pits, coming out P13 as well. So drivers are starting to come in now. We have no more soft runners on track. We have 3 retirees, Jacobs, Nyquist, and Marek Znamierowski. And Dimas with a bit of a score to settle in a P10 with a 5-second penalty. There we go then. As we come up to the halfway point of the race, folks, let us know in the chat who you still have pinned to win this race. Because we don't know for sure. Anything can happen. This is PSGL. This is F1 League Racing. Anything can happen here. So Tamas is going to be jokingly coming up into the pits is going to be Santa Maria and Carmen. They're stammering over my words for a quick second there. So Granny Tomas is almost jovially going to be siphoning up into P6 after those two heading into the pits. And now we are going to wait and see as Nicola Leder is going to be pushing it a little bit too hard in their quest to get back up the field. They are going to get our first track limits penalty of the season. And Lilian is going to be coming out in P8 on the medium. So looking like very strong position to be coming out in. Once they get the heat into those mediums proper, we are going to see sparks fly. Especially against some of these other drivers who will be on much older medium or hards by this point. So it's good to get out of the turbulence, we'll call it. Because that's the last position you want to be in, is a fresh runner in a sea of old tyres. Jumping a bit further up to the front of the field, we could see a move here coming from Cornet de Baca. We could see a trade here once again. He is going to yield, however. I think that Cornet is going to be biding his time. It's not uncommon for drivers to stay behind someone who hasn't got DRS so that they can use it to recharge their battery. It's a pretty good strategy when you think about it, because if you get ahead of, in this case, P3, you are just opening yourself up to potential retakes and just burning your resources before you need to. So you let P3 control the pace, you use their DRS to recharge your battery, and then when the time is right, you can strike and there is nothing that they can do, because you will have kept them on the ropes this whole time. So when they get taken over, they are going to have no battery to retaliate. As we saw, brief exchange between Leder and Leo Lund here, as Lund is down in P13 and Leder's going to be jumping up into P12, but he does have 3 seconds to his name, so he's not going to be reaping the benefits. And Lilian, despite being on the medium tyre, is going to be put in fastest lap down, and you can see them slap bang between Dimas and Tamas in the Haas and Red Bull respectively. We see charging through the field, looking absolutely unstoppable, as both Dimas and Lilian are going to be switching positions up in front of the Haas. Going to be demoted to P8, and you can see that is the cost. That's what we mean about not having the DRS in your favor. You are just left defenseless. There is nothing that you can really do besides just keep close and keep them honest. Make sure that that overtake was not in vain. See, absolutely munching away at the distance there. Already a second down by Lilian in their chase for the front runners. Kevin Ballas is going to be losing their position, and Real Sproges is going to be jumping up ahead. It's going to be Milan Mayer, the first of that upper mid-pack fight we were talking about earlier, to head into the pits. Can Ballas get a retaliation here? They are going to have the DRS. They're going to be chasing down Sproges. As you can see, Milan Mayer is going to be jumping all the way down to, I think, P12 they're going to be coming out, if not P13, just with their teammate. The teammate's yet to pit. So here we go. Sproges looking a little bit shaky here, certainly looking like they're not on the best pace. Neither is Ballas, because those mediums are going to be starting their slow descent into slowness. And time is running thin for some of these drivers. We are back on board with our sort of driver to watch for this race. Sproges is going to be heading into the pits, so Ballas is going to re-inherit that P1 spot, and you can see they're going to be stretching out the mediums to every inch of their life. As they're going medium soft, they are going medium soft, and Lilian is going to be jumping up into P4 with the overtake on Sproges in the pit and the overtake on Dimas on through turn 1 and 2. Are they going to be retaken in the DRS zone? Potentially, Dimas could have a great opportunity here. He's going to be right on the tail of that AT, but it's not going to be a move made. Lillian's going to be in P4. Simone could be also jumping up to take a P2 spot. We keep an eye up on here. Coleman is going to be getting a track limits penalty, the second of the race so far. 3 seconds to and that is going to be a bit of a struggle. Though if he can keep the gap, if he can get a bit of a gap going to Santa Maria, he could save himself. Otherwise, he's going to be looking at a P12 finish. Or a P11 once you count Nicola Leder as well. Kevin Ballas going to be heading into the pits. So once the pole sitter heads into the pits, that usually starts the train. And here it is. Cornet in the pits. Simone in the pits. Are we going to get a quick pit stop from all of them? Lillian is, of course, going to be siphoning through. And Kevin is going to be jumping out on the soft. So where are they going to be coming out on track? That's the question. You've also got a few others who are potentially looking at going into the pits. But Kevin Ballas, who was previously leading the race, is going to come out in P6. And Lillian is so far going to be leading. Kenny Tamas is going to be in P4 alongside their teammate. Almost poetic how that works out. But Sprogis is going to be chasing them down hard. They are on fresh mediums versus 21-lap-old hards. Now, their teammates. Are we going to see a bit of team play? Are we going to see them working together? Or are we going to see that drivers have everything for themselves? Nope, looks like a bit of cordial camaraderie at play here. You can see that Sprogis has been let through pretty effortlessly. Good to see the team players are out there on track today. Because in PSGL, yes, we do have teams, but often it can very much be a case of every driver for themselves. And that can introduce some issues, we'll say. We'll say it can introduce some issues. But here we go. Milan Meyer out on track, fresher and also faster as they get the fastest lap of the race so far. 109.2. It's putting them in very good stead. You see him absolutely rocketing past Noel Carman into P7 here. Looking very good. And you can see just up ahead that Sprogis and Marples are going to be trading places as well. That Red Bull is going to be dropping down into P4 as the Haas is going to be making full use of its compound freshness and advantage here. We've got a few more trades about to happen on track. A few more opportunities can present themselves for drivers. But this is where we start to see drivers cement their positions. You don't see any sort of big jumps at this point. Mostly everyone has taken their pit stops. The only drivers yet to, ironically, are the hard runners. But with how the current cadence of the track is working out, and you can see here Ballas and Marples are going to be trading spots. Going to be going for a little bit of a retake, potentially. As Ballas is not going to have DRS. And Maya is going to be jumping past Kenny Tamas as well, along with Noel Carman. So you can really see that those hard tyres have started to fall away. If I was in Tamas's position, I would be thinking about heading onto the soft compound by now, even if it will be a big time loss. Still have to get your one pit stop in. Here we go. Few drivers are going to be looking to make moves in these next few laps. I think Noel Carman is going to be trying to push up, try and make up for their 3-second penalty. I think Leder's done well to move up the grid as well, but could be under threat. Simone, that could be one to keep an eye on. We are going to be jumping to an Aston Martin and Haas trading as Ivan Santamaria is going to be the next car to get around Kenny Tamas in very smooth fashion, and Aleda is going to be just behind. So are we going to see much in the way of a defense from the Haas driver? They are going to have DRS and a little bit of battery at their disposal, but you can see they're squeezing out everything they can, and it's just not going to be enough. It is just not going to be enough, as Aleda is going to switch back and switch it through. But Jeremy is going to be the next car in P15 to be hit with a penalty. They're going to be chasing down. Thomas is going to try and get a bit of a move back, but he's out of ERS. He's not got any tools to work with here. Hasn't got anything at his disposal that he can really use to just get that position back, which is unfortunate because you can see how hard he's fighting and how he's trying to make this strategy work, but it just hasn't today. Yolanda is going to be heading into the pits. Jeremy not long heading into the pits. And Andre Molnar, they're all going to be coming on softs. Cornet is going to be firing it down the inside. You see him go to the outside and then switch it at the last second. And then Simone is going to be another one. Thomas is dropping like a stone right now. And Jeremy is going to get the fastest lap thanks to having a bit of clean air at their disposal. Going to jump a little bit ahead now. We're going to keep an eye on Cornet, as Cornet is going to be chasing and passing Nicola Aleda, as well as Simone. Simone's going to get a double overtake down the start-finish straight. What a move there from the Aston Martin, as he takes both of them by complete surprise, commentators included. Looking very strong, very good here from both Astons. But the team of today has got to be so far, it's in fact going to be Red Bull, because we jump to the front of the field and Lillian is behind Dimas right now. Dimas is going to be suffering from penalty, but in terms of team, that is still going to put them P3 and P6 respectively. Solo performance, I think Lillian absolutely has this. Potentially depending on these next few laps and how they go down, but as a whole, as a constructor, Red Bull looking very strong. Lillian's just going to put that to rest as I say it, as they're going to be firing it down the inside of turn 1. They've got a lot of battery at their disposal too. Ryard is going to be looking to close that gap also. Only 1.6 behind. In another life, that was much larger of a gap. And you can see these two continuing to duke it out. Dimas is not going to take this one lying down. They're trying to close that gap as quickly as they can. But they just can't do it at this moment. It doesn't look like they can do it. As the time ticks down, as the laps fall away, lap 27 of 36, so final 25%. Andre Molnar is going to get the fastest lap of the race, 108.6. So it's going to be a good amount of damage control from the bottom of the field. Because denying that fastest lap point could be vital in some championship fights. Could potentially swing results. You never know at this point. It's so early to tell. Simone is going to be going for a bit of a run now on Cornet, as just ahead Noel Carman is going to be trading places with Ben Marple simultaneously. So 2 fights happening in very close proximity to one another, but who will prevail? Simone put everything into that move, so if they can't fend off from the DRS of Cornet, then they are going to be in big trouble. That Ferrari will not yield. Looking very tight there from Simone. Looking like he's mostly got that car under control. We've seen a few drivers struggle to push the limits a little bit tonight in this session. We've seen a lot of them getting a little bit skatey on the rear tyres and almost pushing it a little bit too far at times. But it's those who are going to be going forward are the ones who can keep the car on the edge of control but still have it. That is the crucial difference. Looking up ahead, looks like we have a battle for first, as Sprogis is going to be jumping past Lillian and is almost like a silent protagonist in a lot of regards with terms of this race, because they've gone from, say, fairly quiet start. They had their front end I say they had their front end dominance earlier in the race, then sort of fell away a little bit, but they've come surging back up the field, and they've got much younger tyres than Lillian. So Sprogis could be going for a surprise win here if they play their cards right. Lillian could have the advantage in terms of resource, because remember they have full battery almost. They do have the full battery at their disposal. Let's see if the other drivers can respond to this kind of challenge. So Kevin Ballas could be going for a move as well, chasing down Dimas for P3. Ben Marples and Coleman are going to be trading spots once again. I want to see how this drag race plays out between the Alpine and the Red Bull. The Alpine's going to be going to the inside. They're going to put everything into the move, all of their battery. Aleda's going to get yet another warning and time penalty, so that's up to 6 seconds for the Alfa Romeo now. Not that it matters, because Tamas is going to be 15 seconds behind, but still, last thing you want on your record and last thing you want in your races, regardless of position. So Ballas jumping up into P3. Ryard is going to be leading this race and looking to do so fairly comfortably. As we jump on board with Lillian, we can see it's half a second. That gap is not budging all that much. That gap does not seem to be moving. And looking around the field, one car that is moving is Cornet, as Ben Marples looks to be his next target. Right on the tail of the Red Bull. Looking for a window. Both going to have DRS, so can't rely on that too much. You see, he's used all of his battery to try and get this move done, so needs this to work. Looking very sketchy, as it looks like a little bit of contact between Coleman and Marples. You see, just spamming the overtake. They're really just giving it everything that they got, as Coleman's going to be jumping up into P6 alongside Simone. Marples is going to be trying to pick off the scraps. This mid-pack is so dense, it's so tight, that it's anyone's guess how this could go over the next couple of laps. And big send on the inside from Cornet, making contact with the side pod of the Red Bull. Not sure if that could stand. But he is going to be getting round into P8. He's going to take the dominance on the inside line. And he is going to be taking that position, which is crucial. But in the process, he's lost about half a second to Simone and Carmen. Simone could be going for a counter-attack here based on Carmen's attack from earlier. They are, again, just running out their battery for everything they have. They are so desperate to get this move done. Going a little bit of a defensive line on the inside before peeling back out. And then, yeah, just watching the two up ahead. They're watching the Aston and Mercedes fight it out, because they could pick up the scraps. So if these two fight and put each other out of position, as you can see here, Simone is going to do just that. Coleman went to the inside, but Simone had the outside and said, yep, I'll take that. Thank you very much. I see you open the door and left me the door stop. How kind of you, good sir. Now Coleman could be in trouble. As now, Cornet, that's contact from Cornet. Between Cornet and Coleman, he's going to be tipped on the rear, and he's going to be going down to P11 as Aleda's just going to get round. That is brutal. That is rough there for the Mercedes driver. I'm sure not intentional, but either way, you see him, look, the confidence is gone. I see a big slide there from that Mercedes through the next corner. Gotta hurt there. I'm sure Coleman is going to be absolutely fuming with that. Our last few laps here, folks. We have just 4 laps to go for this race. So if anyone wants to get a move done, this is it. Overtake now or forever hold your peace. This is where you want to be. This is where you need to be. So Ballas has a difficult decision on his hands. He's 11 laps soft, and he's got 2 medium runners ahead of him, Lillian and Ryhard. They've both been duking it out, trying to out-duke one another. almost trying to push each other into a mistake through steady pressure. If Ballast can really just eke everything out of their car, they could potentially get P2, but it's about that decision. Do they go risky and potentially overdrive the car and leave themselves open to Dimas, or do they play it something a little bit safer and just lock in the podium that they do have? They are going to have DRS just about half a second in, so they are within range. Dimas is getting closer, but I think he could potentially lock in a podium with some good strategy calls. Just try and conserve the battery as much as you can. Save it for defensive moves only. And you will be in for a good time, because you see Dimas is on the recharge. He hasn't got the battery to spare, and you can see exactly right there, 5%, and really running that car to the raggedy edge. So Ballast has a good position right now that they can really leverage and exploit. With Lillian, by comparison, completely full battery, in fact, which is kind of unheard of at this stage of the race. You really don't see this at this stage of the race. You want to be below 100% at all times, because if you're at 100%, any regeneration is wasted energy. So they need to be pushing it a lot harder in these last few laps for the overtake button. And this is going to be very close, but who's that going to be coming around the outside? It's going to be Ballast. He's going to be boxed in. There's contact. He barely caught it. Lillian is going to be barely in this race still. That is P4 down 2. They're going to have to recover an absolute disaster moment for them there. Ballast is going to be jumping up into P1 through all of this. Surprise move coming in. I think in the shock of all of it, Reihard was like, what has happened here? What has happened behind me? Ballast got completely boxed in and ended up making severe contact with Lillian. I'm not sure if they contacted Sprogis as well. Reihard could be in a precarious spot here. They need to get that P1 back. Pretty sure they wanted that P1 after so much front running. Ballast so far has it, and they do have a potential shot at a surprise win. They could potentially have a surprise win on track. Lillian, I believe, has damage because they've fallen away severely, and Milan Myers just overtaken them for P4. Here we go. Sprogis is not going to be taking this one lying down. They are not having any of it. As we're on the final lap here, folks. See, this is a do or die situation. You can see Sprogis is going for it. He's giving everything here. Full overdrive, full battery on this, and he is going to be up into P1. Ballast is going to be stuck in the middle here. They've also depleted most of their battery, but they have a potential opportunity. They could get this in the last second. This is where it all comes down to it, folks. You've got 3 drivers very close to the front of the field, all very different situations. 15-lap mediums, no battery. 14-lap softs, no battery. Alexander Dimas is probably the biggest potential upset here because they are going to be having a little bit more battery than these other two, but I don't think it's going to be enough to make a full second in these last 2 corners. Here we go. Final straight here, and Ballast has got nothing to respond with. So to win the first round of PSGL Season 34, it's going to be Reihard Sprogis. What a performance here from the Haas driver. That is going to be an absolute corker of a race. What a start to the season. And you can see here penalties being applied up and down the field. Dimas is going to get moved down to P4 post penalty, and you can see that a few other drivers are also going to get shifted around. Jeremy is going to be early retiring on the last lap to boot. And there we are. Leo Lund and Andre Molnar going to be rounding off the bottom end of the table. Let's see that Simone so close to a potential P7, but just didn't clip it in time from his teammate. So I'm not sure if that's going to cause frictions between Aston Martin. And there we are, folks. That is going to do it. Ryan Sprogis is going to win our first round of PSGL F4 PC. This is going to be a good season. This is going to be a very, very good season. I can already tell. You can see her coming up on the board and onto the podium alongside his fellow drivers. What a drive, what a performance. And there we go. So taking the top spot is going to be Ryan Sprogis in the Haas. Great start to the season. Started P2, ended up in the top spot. Great drive from him there. Ballas is going to be P2, and then you can see that the rest of the field is going to fairly follow out how we may have expected it to for some, and some big shakeups for others. Lillian, getting very unlucky in that last moment, is going to be in P5 following the incident with Ballas there. Not sure if the stewards are going to get investigative on that one, but I guess we will see how that all plays out. Remember, guys, these are provisional results, so the stewards have the right to apply penalties and to change the results as necessary. This can include removing false warnings and penalties, but this can also include additional penalties for on-track conduct based on situations reported by the drivers. But here we go. That is going to be the race. Now we're going to stick around for just a couple minutes and see if our drivers are going to be coming to any interviews. We'd really love to talk to any one of our podium runners, and we do want to see what they thought of today's race. So we will give it a little bit of a minute. I would also like to talk to Lillian if they are willing. And we will see who shows in the comm box in the waiting room. Apologies for the minor music issues there. So dropping out a little bit. Here we are. We have our first arrival. And here we are, joining us from a great season opener in my opinion. Ryle, congratulations on the win. How are you feeling, my friend?
Oh my god, this is the best feeling what I can get. Oh my god, I'm sweating. Oh my god.
Did you come into the day expecting a win?
I wasn't at the start when I started to practice. Oh, but when I started to practice, I started to feel really comfortable about my pace. I was really comfortable with my quali pace. I wasn't like ready for the race. I was like really struggling at the practices when I was racing. I was like overheating the rears, and I was really scared that I will do it as well here. But oh, the strategy I did was really impossible. But not impossible, really incredible. Sorry. Oh, I saw yesterday in the PSGL F1 that Barry and the other fast guys also did a hard medium strategy. So I also wanted to try, and it worked out. My tires were the best at the end. I tried to get out of the DRS when I overtook Lillian and Kevin. Didn't work out, but yeah, still managed to win. The last lap turn one incident, I was really scared of because he pushed me, and I thought I will spin off and lose positions, but I saw Lillian going wide or stuff. I'm not sure quite, but yeah, I'm real happy. I don't know what to say. I'm just ready to race.
Well,
Sadly, I
it was
won't be.
amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing, but sadly, I won't be racing next week. But yeah,
I'll say, what a
amazing feeling.
statement! What a statement to make, though. As you say, you're not going to be racing next week, but to come in and have, I'll say, a brilliant season opener. Was there a particular point where it kind of clicked for you, where it changed from, okay, this is a bit of a difficult situation, to actually I could win this? Was there a particular moment where it kind of clicked in your mind that you could get a win here?
Uh, I think I was confident all the race, to be honest, that I can win. Because yesterday, maybe you know that these guys who were on my strategy, they were even further away from the leaders. So I was like, I think 6 or 7 seconds behind the leaders after pitting. So yeah, I was really confident.
Well, I'd say it certainly showed that confidence as they had great control of the car. That you were worried about overheating the rears, they didn't see it. So a lot of other cars looking a little bit skatey, a little bit loose around the rear, but you seem to have a good handle on it. So I'd say brilliant job, well done today. Of course, coming back for round 3 in Silverstone. How are you feeling? How are you feeling about that track?
Oh, that is also really good track for me. So Trevor, my rivals, and will need to practice a lot. So
Championship contention?
I hope so. I would
Love to
love
see
to.
it. Love to see it, mate. Well, say take a well-earned rest. You sound tired out, but you've earned it. Great job
Uh,
out there today, and of course, see you in round 3.
yep. Thank you.
And there you go, folks. So that was Ryard Sprogis. That was a winner of the first race of season 34. And we've got some absolute spice cooking up. So round 2 takes us to a brand new circuit, never seen before in League Racing. That is going to be new with this game. It's Las Vegas. And this is going to produce some great results. New tracks, as we said at the start of the stream, new tracks to the game always never fail to impress when it comes to League Racing, and hopefully this is no different. So we are going to say goodbye for now, and to those of us joining for the first time, be sure to hit that subscribe, be sure to hit that bell for every time that we're live, every time that we put up a new post, and join us on things like Discord and all the rest of our socials. You will want to be there, folks. You absolutely want to be there. But thank you to everyone in chat who joined us for our inaugural F4 race. It's been an absolute blast. I see some friendly faces and some good names in there. You're all amazing people. And we will see you next time as we head to Las Vegas for round 2. I can't wait, and we'll see you all there. Take care, folks. Goodbye for now.
Desperately trying to hang on. He's got the inside. Orpheus is through on the left hand side. Hooks the apex, gets on the power nicely, and that is job done. Jarno Orpheus now to the last couple of corners now. His finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium. Once again, the GOAT is back. Jarno Orpheus wins the US Grand Prix in a stunning Grand Prix.
Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my phone, she got Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my